Guys, what is going on? This is Tim Odell with OdellCompleteConcrete, and this is the final part of the series. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the end, because that's going to be the price breakdown. Plus, I do have a logo design I want to show you guys, so you guys can help me and my dad decide which one to go with. And what we're going to be doing today is installing some cell shades, installing some DG, and that's about it. I didn't get the gates installation like I was saying in part 1, and this is actually part 4, but let's get right into it then, guys. So you can see I'm already digging out the holes for the post where we're going to be setting the post, and I dug down about 2.5 to 3 feet for these holes, these post holes. And we're just doing 4x4 lumber. You could do with a 6x6 as well. I did 4x4s because we don't have like gnarly winds here in Southern California. But if you get crazy winds, you want some extra strength and stability, go ahead and do a 6x6 post. Nothing wrong with that. And what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm actually using this Milwaukee digital level. I'm putting a 5-degree slope or tilt pretty much on this post, and this is what's so great about this digital level. It tells me exactly what I have, and I'm exactly pretty much plumb, almost 90 degrees, and I got that 5-degree tilt on for extra strength and stability for tension and wind pretty much. And I'm actually using the other piece that I cut off on these. I believe I think there were 14 footers that I used, and I cut about 4 feet off of it, or 5 feet off, something. I think that I had the post somewhere around there, and then they're 3 feet into the ground. And then also, guys, we're going to be attaching to the patio cover that's existing already on the patio to the left, and that patio cover was roughly about 12 feet high, somewhere around there. And you want to always make sure that you have about 18 to 40 degree slope from your high to your low point for these when installing posts or cell shades. So it will help for water runoff, and nothing weighs the cell shades down, and also for having wind just being redirected pretty much, and not trying to catch the cell shades and pull on it and tug it and pull those posts out of the ground. So that's what's important to know when installing this type of stuff. Oh, and I'm actually installing some weed fabric. If you've been following the series of this 4-part series, I was showing earlier, guys, in the very beginning of part 1, how some guy put like a visqueen barrier, and I took all that out, and I'm installing some real weed barrier fabric where water can actually drain through it. Because the other weed fabric that the person put in wasn't actually not weed fabric. It was like trash bags or visqueen barrier, and it was just getting a lot of water saturation in this part of the backyard. And now what we're doing, guys, is we're bringing in some DG, Decomposed Granite. And what's nice about this stuff is once you compact it really well, and we're using a tamper because we couldn't get our plate compactor back here, we're tamping it all down. Once you compact it really nice and well, it really holds its composure due to the granites. It will start to really lock in together. And it's great because hopefully the homeowner's son won't be playing in this like a sandbox, since it'll be a little bit more tough to grab out of the ground since we're going to be compacting it, which makes this backyard a little more kid friendly, and it's so nice and soft on your feet. So when the homeowner's son is running around, he can run around with no shoes on. And then also, guys, I don't know if you guys see all those stakes. We actually installed a drip system under this DG, and the reason why we did that was because personally I think it looks better with the drip system hidden. So we made it a little hidden drip system, and those stakes are going to represent where the homeowner can plant their plants pretty much. I mean, you can pretty much plant anywhere where the DG is, because we snaked the drip system all around the DG, but we made it fairly more simple and obvious to where the drip systems are really hitting. And also right here, guys, when Sam was compacting with that 2x4, I don't know if you guys saw that, he was compacting with a 2x4 and a hammer in this area because it was really tight areas. He actually smashed his finger and lost his nail on this job. And then here is the cell shade installation. We are installing a little plate on top. I don't know if you guys can see, that's a metal plate on both sides, drilling through just to give some extra strength. And what you're gonna need for this type of job is you're gonna need, for your anchors, you're gonna need either eye lag screws, eye bolts with nuts, or a pad eye. And I didn't get any close-ups on the GoPro, so sorry on my part, but I'm gonna try to explain as best as I can for you guys. So for the post, what we used was the pad eyes, or D-hooks, whatever you want to call them. And then on the patio cover area, we used eye bolts for that with a nut on the other side of the existing patio cover. And then we also are using a cable to run through. And the other things you're gonna need, guys, for this is links. You're gonna need turnbuckles, snap hooks, and D shackles. I believe that's about it. I'll throw a picture up, guys, so it makes it a little more simple and you guys can get a good visual, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you've never done this before. But I mean, installing it is fairly simple, guys. Once you get started, it starts to make sense. And here's another visual just to give you guys a better idea of how to install it. So for the patio cover, we put the eye bolt in. You put the eye bolt, then you put the snap hook, and then you hook it up to the cell shade D-rings. And if you need cable, you put the cable in as well between the cell shade and the D-ring of the D-ring cell shade. Then for the other side, guys, for the poles, you can see right there, we use the pad eye or eye bolt for you just screw it in pretty much, and then you place a turnbuckle, which you want it loose pretty much so you can tighten it later on, and then you just clip it right onto the D-ring to the cell shade. Easily attachable and detachable. You just turn the turnbuckles and tighten it up and give it that tension. So I actually ran an SD card on my camera, guys, when I was filming this whole project, and I couldn't film everything that we did for installing the cell shades, which was a bummer, and I wish I could have got more for you guys, but I hope you guys got a basic idea of how to do cell shades. Maybe on the next project, guys, I'll get way more into depth for installing this type of stuff, but this is pretty much the ending project, guys, and how everything looked. We did the DG, artificial turf, cell shades, the St. Augustine grass, concrete bike path. We actually did gates, and I didn't film that either, sadly. Alright, hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Tim Odell with OdellCompleteConcrete. Final day of the project, wrapped everything up, got the vinyl gates installed. Let me show you the whole project and how it looks now. Alright, guys, so here's the back. We got the turf installed, sun cell shades. We got a little racing track right over there, DG. We also have another gate way over on that side. We'll get to there. But here's the whole project, how it looks, guys. Oh, not to mention, we also did the sod and a little bit of the irrigation. So we also did this gate over here. You can see that the little guy's already been using his little racetrack with that little hot rod right there. They're going around the whole concrete, walkway. Hasn't fully cured yet, but it'll get there. But let's take a walk around the whole thing. As you can see, this is meant for the little guy. Here's the whole scope of the work. So that was pretty much the whole project, guys. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you want to see more. And we always love sharing these with you guys, so stay tuned for the next project. Alright guys, so we reached 1,000 likes, so I'm pretty much just going to go over all the profits and how much everything cost. If we reached 2,000, I would have really gotten into detail with this, and I would have broken down every little piece of information on this bid. But that's a lot of work, guys, so I'm just going to do a little basic rundown on what everything costed and how much I profited off this the whole job. And if you guys noticed, it says Odell Complete Landscape. That's because that's my business name, and I recently got my license, so I've been going out on a lot of my own job bids, getting my own work, and mainly just doing my own work after working with my dad, because I film all of his stuff and want to make sure I'm getting all his jobs caught on footage, because I know how much you guys love all that concrete work, so definitely can't be missing any days with him. And then let's just pretty much get right into it, guys. I'll get down to the breakdown. For the concrete work, it was $3,300, and this is all the information pretty much that I gave the homeowner when I was bidding out for the concrete. All the detail. I believe what the concrete costed me for all the labor and materials, which it was just me and Sam just split everything 50-50. Was, let's see, I believe it was about $1,500 for all the concrete work, for all the materials, concrete truck, concrete pumper, and forms, rebar, all that. So I pretty much made like $1,800 for that section. And that's honestly what kind of saved me, because the vinyl fence I really didn't make any money on. The St. Augustine I did okay with. Putting green, terrible. And the small miscellaneous work, which was like the cell shades, concrete pouring, setting up the post, sanding the pressure treated wood in the backyard, pretty much all that small stuff, that kind of saved me in a sense too, since I didn't have to buy a whole lot, especially since the homeowner supplied me with the cell shades. But my pricing wasn't too great when it came to the vinyl fence and the putting green, so now for next time I'll know how to price it better. But for the installation of the vinyl fence, because I put up 2 gates, and the 2 gates cost me like, I think like $800, right around there, for all the equipment and the concrete, and then putting the 2x4s in. Actually, I put concrete in the post because I'm a concrete guy, and it's even better than 2x4s, stronger, more sturdy. And all that cost me about $800, so I really only made like $200 off of this right here. So right now we're at about $2,000 in profit from everything I've done here. And what I typically like to do, guys, or what I always try to aim for when I bid projects out, I want to make at least 50%. 50% goes to material, and then 50% goes to me, plus because I do the labor as well. Once maybe once I get bigger and start having people helping me out, I'll have to price things out differently, but for now this is kind of my system. So the St. Augustine grass, what we did, we priced out for $1,350, and I believe all the material costed me about roughly around $500 for the St. Augustine grass, the topsoil, and delivery fee, of course. And then I also include that with the irrigation as well, irrigation lines, setting up new sprinkler heads, and yeah, it was roughly about $500 for all of that. I think I made like $850 off of the St. Augustine grass installation. For the putting green, I didn't do too hot when pricing this out, especially because the putting green holes get expensive, guys. I think all the material cost me right around $1,200. Plus I did get Edgar come help me out, and with material and labor I spent about $1,200. and then I think I only profited like 500 off of that. So that's what I made on this little section of the bid. And then all the small miscellaneous stuff the homeowner kind of provided me with the sail shades, and all the equipment to install the sail shades. The only thing I had to buy was pretty much the post and concrete, and I think that was like right around like $200, $250. Plus I did have to buy the weed fabrics, so that was like, yeah, about $200 in total, somewhere right around there. In total, guys, what I did end up profiting for this whole job was, I believe, about 4,000. I made 2, Sam made 2, and I did this like roughly within a 2-week span, especially because you know, you guys all know that I do work with my dad in the morning, and then I come in the afternoon pretty much until sundown getting this job done. Here's kind of like what I want from homeowners. When I'm doing a job, I like to get 10% down right when I start. It helps with material payments and all that. Once and then I kind of break down like payment sections, like demo, form, and setup. After I got the demo out, form set up, I want, you know, another little chunk so I can pay for the concrete pump, stuff like that. Once I get half the work done, I want a little more concrete pour and sod installation. Once I get, yeah, about halfway done with the project, I expect about half or 2/3 paid for. And then once I get all that pretty much out of the way, the final payment would be, yeah, like 1/4 of the project left. And that's pretty much how I go about doing my bids, guys. I hope this kind of helps you guys get an idea, or helps you guys maybe bid out your projects in the future. But that's pretty much the breakdown. If you guys like this kind of stuff, let me know, because I can do this on all my projects, break things down of how I went about bidding stuff out. And if you guys really want me to get into detail, let's hit that 2,000 like for the next project, and I'll show you guys receipts, go over all the detail of how I went about bidding it out, how I got my price, all that kind of stuff. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed this series. If so, let's get a thumbs up, let's get a like for this video, and don't forget to share and subscribe and comment. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one. One more thing, guys, before I go. Me and my dad were working on a new logo design, and I want to get you guys' opinion. Here is the first logo design that we're thinking about, and sorry for this little watermark, but we're still deciding on what we want to do. So here's the first logo. Here is the second logo, and the third logo. So you guys decide, or try to help us decide on which one you guys like the most, first, second, or third. Let me go through them again real quick. So here's the first, second, and third. So comment down below, guys, first, second, or third. We need to make a decision because we're going to be making new t-shirts. It's going to be fresh new designs on t-shirts, so we're going to be putting those up on the store eventually, and you guys will definitely have a say in which one we decide to go with.